There we go. Oh, we figured it out.
Hi.
Welcome, Mr. Bryce. How are you?
I'm great. I think the last time I saw you face to face, I was in Bali. I think that was.
Oh, brag, brag, brag.
It's been a while.
Fantastic. Bryce, thank you so much for agreeing to be here and just for your sunshine that you do bring to our group. I mean, I don't think there's a day you've been in here where you haven't been upbeat. And, whether that's put on or not, we appreciate it because it's important to share those high vibe things that we're in the middle of. Because if we don't, why aren't we? Like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate you being here. And I don't know how you want to do this, but that comment that you left about being kind of down in the dumps and that everybody notices you're much more of a ray of sunshine these days really spoke to me. And, just want you to share that with us.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was interesting sitting here and just thinking about that was 4 years ago that I was so unaware of really what energy was, period. Not to mention energy work. I had no idea what that was in general. And just typical, American, just thinking, oh, I just got to take a different medication for the anxiety or a different medication for the depression, a different medication for the insomnia. So it was a perpetual cycle that no matter which medication it was like I just was always in a just a really poor loop at that point in time. And it was really just interesting thinking about how just you get to kind of a point where during the wintertime, so this time of year in Minnesota, it's like, 20 degrees out, super gray skies, and you're just kind of looking out at this just desolate, nothing going on outside, no greens, no nothing like that. And I got to a point where I was like, enough is enough. I have to make a change. I don't know what it's going to be, but I need to find something that doctors aren't prescribing. And so interesting enough, I was actually speaking with my sister, and she was pregnant at the time, and she was talking about how she was listening to a hypnosis track to actually help with childbirth. And I'm like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Are you telling me that you're listening to hypnosis before you go in and have birth so that it'll be less painful? She's like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, she is completely out of her mind. That was my thoughts exactly. And so just out of pure curiosity, like afterwards, I was like, so did you still do that? And she's like, Bryce, it went flawlessly. No medications, birth at home with a doula, like the whole 9 yards, like, and she's just like, it was amazing. It was peaceful. She's like, it wasn't pleasant, but she's like, I got through it. And so that was kind of this moment of realization that I'm like, okay, there's something to this. There's something out there that I'm missing completely. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna create my vision board. And at that point in time, so 4 years ago, I just had words on it, and it said, whatever, whenever, wherever, however, whomever. And what it was meant to represent is complete freedom, and to be able to go out and kind of do things on my own and just have complete freedom. This was when I was living in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, and in the middle of wintertime. So the idea of just a vacation at that point in time was like the coolest idea ever. So I started listening to that self-hypnosis every single night, and I just listened to it while I was sleeping. So what was really cool about it was not only there's no energy involved whatsoever. I'm just listening to this program while I'm sleeping at night. But after 3 to 4 weeks, my whole life started changing. I started viewing myself from a completely different lens. My energy and my like the just constant depression and anxiety was slowly starting to lift off quite significantly. And so that was kind of like my first entryway into understanding what energy was at this point in time. So that was, so 4 years ago. And it's been, I think it was about a year and a half ago, I got introduced to Reiki for my first time. I was actually on a date in Scottsdale, and I was talking to somebody, and they had mentioned that they were Reiki practitioners. And I was like, I had no idea what it was whatsoever, but they asked if I wanted to try it. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was out cold on the bed, like right away, just felt into the most peaceful, calming, relaxing sleep. It was just absolutely phenomenal. So I knew there was something to it, but at this point in time, I really didn't understand anything about it. And at this point in time, I was heading out to Bali, and that's the first time that I caught Mish. Was out in Bali on, I think I was 2 months into it out there at this point in time, and it's been over a year and a half, and it's just like has been such a grounding force in my life. And I can't thank you enough for all the energy that you've invested to bring so much light into my life, and also not just the Reiki itself, but just like your ability to connect such wonderful people along the way into this community has been just it's invaluable, and I can't describe how much I appreciate it. So I wanted to say thank you so much. Yeah.
That's ridiculously awesome. I love all of that for you. I can't wow, coming from pretty much a hole in the ground in the snow. Bali and sun and light and feeling your surroundings and leaning into them in a way with undefined parameters. I loved your vision board ideas. Normally, I'm not an advocate of vision boards because I think they stay on the board.
Yeah.
They're really hard if they are just coming out of your head and not doing the heart-mind coherence involved to actually bring them to reality. But leaving them wide open like you did with whoever, wherever, whatever, however, whenever is amazing, because that just lets go of any limit.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. Wow.
Yeah. It's been every single session that we've been in together, it's just been such a blessing. So I can't, it seems like it keeps getting better and better as we go along too, which is really fun. So I really appreciate it. Yeah.
That's amazing. And again, I think you've left that door open so wide with your limitless view of just taking whatever means it's not going to stop changing and growing, which that's phenomenal. And that's an attitude that I really wish a lot of people could figure out, of letting go. And that's why we talk about this, let go of the desire to have some particular outcome. Because sometimes the universe might go, okay, here you go, but like, I don't recommend it. It might not be for you. It might feel great right now, today, but in about 4 months, there's going to be something hinky with it. And it's going to go down an avenue that, maybe your soul needs to experience that avenue. Okay, but we could have done better if you let go of the reins earlier.
Totally. And those are the type of things that you look back. I mean, 4 years ago, and like thinking back to it now, and it's like I'm in this place where it's like I'm looking at all those tough moments and being with so much gratitude for it. That contrast is like, I've never been so grateful. It's like once you recognize how big of a shift you can go through, it really does. Looking back on it after the fact, it's like you do understand where those moments come into play and how valuable they are too. During times. So
that's fantastic. What a rounded understanding. Yeller Belly has asked you in the comments. I don't know if you can see the comments up there, but she said she's thought about doing hypnosis, and would you mind recommending the recording or the name of the app that you use so that maybe others can check it out? And it's, guys know it's Bryce's suggestion based on his experience. Might not be for everybody, but if it gave you value, then it's worth recommending.
Yeah, for sure. So I started out using an app called Hypnobox. It's HYPNOBOX, Hypnobox. And that's kind of how I got started over that first month time period. And as I continued this kind of energy growth, I started doing a lot of guided meditations just through YouTube. That has been like a really hidden gem for me too along the way.
Excellent. You have to give your sister a gigantic hug.
Yes.
And it's funny because she was probably this kind of person all along, and you were so embroiled in your own quagmire that you didn't notice that she was doing these things. And you needed to hit that point where you were going to accept help from somebody else, even if it's simply as a suggestion of, try this out, it works for me. You let go of the reins this much enough to say, yeah, okay, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wonderful how it came together.
That's fantastic. I want to challenge you on something you said. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. You said that you were falling asleep to Hypnobox and just letting it kind of do its thing subliminally with you. And you said there was no energy involved.
Oh, just meaning like when I say that, I mean like I wasn't having to like take any time out of my day for it. So I felt like it was really effortless in that it was literally it was helping, not only helping me fall asleep, but it was reprogramming my subconscious while I was sleeping at night. So that's when I say that. That's
okay.
About that. What were you going to say though? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I thought you meant, it wasn't doing anything for you energetically, because then you realized when Reiki came along, what Reiki was doing that was slightly different than Hypno. And I thought you were talking about your retrospective perspective of going, that wasn't, the Hypno wasn't about the energy, the Reiki became about the energy. But when you say now, to clarify, and I'm glad I asked, because it makes total sense that it's effortless when you're sleeping. This is, your consciousness is a thing, your subconsciousness is a thing. You can have one influence the other by having something external to you affect you. And sound, and we talk about the power of words and suggestion and how they hit your energy field. That is an energy thing for sure, but you meant it in a way that it was 100% effortless, which I think is a great place for a lot of people to start, especially skeptics. How much skepticism did you walk into this whole Hypno thing with?
Well, it's the interesting thing about, everything I was skeptic about from the get-go. And, I'm at a point now with this evolution and just like literally looking at the complete night and day difference that's taking place in my, my career, my personal life, work, everything along the ways. And it's like, I can't believe that it was 4 years ago that I don't watch TV. I don't listen to like pop culture music. Like I've really taken to heart, the frequency and music. There's, negative vibrations that we're watching through the news and consuming on a regular basis. And so I watched a relative just have a lot of trouble with politics, and it just kind of took over their life. And I was like, no, I don't want any part of it. So it was, I really did. Made a lot of changes to things that, looking back, and at that point in time, I would have been like, what is this dude even talking about? Like frequency and like music, and it all absorbs into our experience. And I am just so glad that I finally understand what it is, and have wonderful people in my life like you that have been able to guide me along the way. So.
Oh, that's very cool. Has your friend set changed?
Absolutely. Yep. Friend set. And it's, I guess to say cut is an understatement. It's when you're kind of social life revolves on going out and drinking and stuff like that every single weekend, and you don't drink anymore. It's like, that's a big difference when it comes to a social life. But it created the space that I needed to find other wonderful people in my life. Like that was all a trade-off into just this wonderful experience that I'm so grateful for today. So, yeah,
that's valuable information for people who are afraid of embracing a different lifestyle forward, kind of like what you have. You've done it I think progressively, organically, and just because you've been open to that change. And I love your story for other people because it's a really good example of how when you stop trying so hard and you just kind of let things be with
Mhm.
optimism in your sights, right? And
Absolutely.
that you open your heart to possibility, potential, and you find new opportunity, it feels more organic, less forced. So it's not the struggle. Like it sounds to me like people just kind of fell off the block. You stopped attending certain things. People fell away in a natural way instead of you having to say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're just not my vibe. Like it's not that way.
Mhm.
Energy moves, I think, in a much more smooth way if
Mhm.
you allow it to and you don't try to control it.
Yeah, absolutely. That you couldn't have said it better. That it was just so organic and natural the way that those evolved, and they were there for a reason. And yeah, it's exciting. I'm very
Wow.
very happy.
That's amazing. Well, you live a really cool lifestyle, I must say. I'm a little jealous about the places you get to go to. They sound amazing, and you just always bring such a bright shine to our group, and I really appreciate you, Bryce.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Yay! Okay, thank you. There
All
you
right.
go, guys. Any last and dying questions for Bryce? You can put in the comments, and we can get to them. It's almost the top of the hour, so I will let Bryce go, and we'll get on with this Reiki sample session. Okay?
Thank you, Mish.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate it.